The film / crew review
Angel has fallen.
And I'm here too.
Boom. Hey team, Angus, Strachan here, and welcome to the Film Slice Podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Wiggly Kane Dogs.
Thank you.
And the man formerly known as Bro Diddly Doo, Broadman Riches. This week, known as Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Alright, Gerard Butler. This week, we are reviewing Angel Has Fallen, the third in a fantastic trilogy of people falling down.
No one knew was going to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
The trilogy no one wanted or knew about.
That's it. Kane Dogs, you want to whip out that IMDb summary?
I can whip it out. All right.
Excellent.
Secret Service agent Mike Banning is framed for the attempted assassination of the president and must evade his own agency, the FBI, as he tries to uncover the real threat.
Dun dun dun. Oh. The real threat being very
predictable.
Very predictable, and that's all we'll say on that.
Look, if you've seen the first 10 minutes, you know who did it.
Yeah, look, if you've seen the trailer, you probably know who did it. Sweet, alright, when did you see the movie? What did you think?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
I saw this film on Friday night with Brody, and
Excellent.
it was very forgettable. Because I forgot we were doing it until you did the intro just before.
Fair enough. Mr. Butler.
I wrote down, Friday night, Angel should have fallen even more and never returned.
Angel shouldn't have gotten back up.
No.
Fair enough. I saw the movie yesterday. Yes.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, last night. And it was very predictable. There were some fun moments in there that I didn't mind. But
Well said, Angus.
Thank you. But overall it was very predictable. I also haven't seen the first two, so I'm not sure if that would have changed my experience at all. No. Cool. All right.
They're the same as this one.
Nice one.
Yep.
Lads, you know how I put up every week, without fail,
Yes.
what movie we're reviewing, and I ask our audience, our lovely slicey slices out there, to comment on the movie that we're going to review, and so we can chuck it in the podcast. I do Instagram. Kane Dogs, you're on Facey.
I am on
Broadman, you're on Twitter.
Yeah.
By the way, we had a problem last week with the Twitter.
Yeah,
Is
so
that all fixed up?
Yeah, so last week our previous Twitter accounts, they were all hacked by Russians, and then
Yeah, I
remember
we
that.
made some new ones, but those ones were all hacked by the Chinese.
Yeah, damn.
So we've had to move on again.
Right.
So Jordan, I've had to set up your Twitter account again.
Okay.
So yours is Disregard Butler.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this a jab at Gerard Butler or just butlers everywhere?
Both.
Okay. I'm okay with
As
this.
he is a butler. And then Angus, for you, I haven't been able to set up my one for myself yet, unfortunately. But
Right,
I
okay,
will.
yeah.
I will
No,
eventually.
that's all right.
But for you, Angus, I thought I'd give you the best superhero I can remember from my childhood, Ballin' Beeman.
Bowen Beeman.
Yeah, he's a Beeman, and his secret identity is he's a DJ. So there you go.
Right, gotcha. Wait, his secret identity is his DJ.
Yeah.
What's his
Ballin'
superpower?
Beeman. Bees.
Oh, Beeman.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm with you. Won't that be taken? I'm sure it's fine. It
should be fine.
I'm sure it's fine. So definitely, okay, reach out or something. So I guess no one kind of hit us up on Twitter for this movie then.
A lot of people did. We got almost 1,000 this week, but
Oh, nice.
again, all in Chinese. Can't do anything.
Right, yeah. No, okay.
That's actually every text I get. I
That's-
think I've changed the settings on my phone somehow.
Okay, so on Instagram, we've got a couple of comments here.
I bet you do. Any of them, can I just ask, are any of them not from Brody?
I don't think he's here. No, he's not on it.
Yeah, what about Hooverman and Not Films Last Host?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
great.
they're there. Okay, so we've got
Sure.
from not.films/host. He says, Jorkin is a bunch boy.
Now that's just not true. I mean, it's a little true.
And then replying to at not.films/host is Hooverman91, and he says, and a yanking twuff plunger.
Connor Kelly, if you're out there, if you could
Please
if you could start writing things in so we don't have to rely on Brody's shit, that'd be fantastic.
Ooh, they're the words from a twat bludger.
This just in.
I heard one.
This just in, literally 4 seconds ago.
Well,
From
Brody's holding his phone.
a Molly Zeinstra. She says, haven't seen it. Can you all do a Gerard Butler accent? Ooh. All right.
Okay.
All right, Gerard Butler accent off.
I feel like I want to Google something that he said so we don't all do this as Sparta.
Are we doing Gerard Butler as Gerard Butler or Gerard Butler as an American?
I feel like just Gerard Butler is Gerard Butler.
I think it's dealer's choice. You get to choose.
Yeah. I'm going to go normal Gerard Butler, but in Angel
I want to listen. Can I listen?
No.
I'm much better
Right off
replicating-
the cuff.
I can't remember what he
Right
sounds
off the
like.
cuff.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be no good in people's ears.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
I've got to get to the president and fucking save the car.
Right. Okay, so...
Quickly move it to Jordan. Quickly move it to Jordan. Quickly move it to Jordan. Jordan, take it away. Your Gerard
This
Butler impression.
is...
Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler. No, I can't do it. Gerard Butler.
All right.
Gerard Butler died not their day.
Oddly, all he says is his own name. This is Sparta. That's all I got.
Okay. So, my Gerard Butler impression.
Sounds a
is
lot like Brody.
Gerard Butler after he's gotten home from a dev shooting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I can't believe that my films are so shite.
Very good.
Well done. I believe that's a direct quote from P.S. I Love You as well.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Gerard Butler, and I'm releasing an album. Oh, no, my name's Lewis Capaldi. Sorry, bye. Anyway. Well, that was good. I'm glad we're all on the same page there.
Yeah, you seemed a little stuck in your Scottish accent coming out of that as well.
I'm glad we're all on the same page. Anyway, moving on to the next segment. Would you recommend it? Who would you recommend it to?
I'd recommend it.
No one wants
I'd
this.
recommend it to anyone
No
who like
one
the
wants
first
this.
two. But other than that,
We're all
Okay.
stuck.
I think it's quite shite.
Save us.
Pardon me. Anyone hit you up on Facey? Game Dogs? We just kind of missed that.
Yeah, you did kind of
Sorry.
skip that. Let me jump over.
I just assumed it was no one.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I put it up just now.
Idiot.
And so far, no. But it could change.
All right, keep us posted all throughout the podcast
I will.
if anyone comments.
Bug boy.
All right, would you recommend it? Who would you recommend it to? Who'd like to go first?
I'd like to go
Excellent.
first. Hello,
What?
Jared Butler,
Jared
go
Butler
first.
here. I would recommend it to anyone who liked the first two as
Oh,
smaller
no one wants this.
Take it away, John.
Thank you, Gerard Butler. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone. I guess if you have to see a movie and you've seen the other movies, then this is you know what? This is the most B-grade action film I've seen. It's the most like 2008 action film ever made. It just came out a decade later.
So this segues nicely into who I would recommend it to, because I would recommend it to
People from 2008.
just generic dads.
Okay.
This is like a dad movie, just a kind of something that you can put on the background while you're bloody chugging down a beer or doing the ironing.
Put it in the
as
background while you're
dads do.
chugging a beer and doing the ironing.
Yeah, that's what
Good on
dads
you,
do,
dads.
right?
Is he topless?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
With a
yeah.
hairy chest?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
kind of got that. He's got that singlet, that white singlet, but a sweat
Oh, yeah.
stained
That
singlet.
white singlet with the rip in it?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the one. But it's that generic. There's explosions. There's action. There's Gerard Butler. I think dads will enjoy this if they're not paying attention to it. Other than that, probably no one. Maybe people that have seen the other Fallen movies.
No,
I
if
haven't.
you've seen the first two, you definitely don't want to see this one.
Cool.
Yeah,
Because-
someone strapped you down to a chair and made you watch the first two.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you saw the first one, the last thing you want to do is see the next one. And if you've seen both of them, then this is definitely the last thing you want to do.
Fair cup, Mr. Butler. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yet.
All right, comrade. That's Russian, isn't it? Is Niet comrade? Is he being Russian?
What are we aiming for?
What are we aiming for?
At least
probably
another
like a
100
good.
listeners.
I was gonna bet me to it. Well played. All right. Anything before we head on into spoilers?
No.
No. All good.
No.
Sweet. Not that we really need to put a spoiler warning on it because it is all in the trailer. So last recommendation, if anyone hasn't seen it and is planning on going to see it, don't watch the trailer because I watched it probably about an hour before seeing the movie and I'm like, I know what the movie is now.
Yeah.
And I was right. Cool. All right, let's head into spoilers. Sound the alarm.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
All right, we are in the spoiler section where we dissect and divulge everything about the film. So you've been warned. Don't at us. Cinema dicks to start off with. Boy, do I have a big bag of dicks today. But would you guys like to start?
No, there was one moment, me and Brody saw this film together, and there was one moment where there was no noise except a kid who sounded like he was about 5 years old, chuckled quite loudly, and me and Brody were just a bit
It was pretty funny because I think it was like right in a moment where someone got shot in the face.
Yeah, it was like horrific.
Someone got like horrifically murdered or set on fire or something like that. And a little kid in the back went,
and it was just so
and
weird.
me and George both looked at each other and it really started laughing.
Because at no other point, like this is at least 2/3 in, and no other point did we hear any of this kid existing in this cinema. So I know,
kid just like that one murder
Just
a
got
lot
born.
more than the rest.
a lot more than the rest. Angus, what is your bag of dicks?
All right, so all right, I'm going for a record dick count. So if we can keep the dick tally on.
Okay.
Yep, my tally dick.
Brody's
No. My dick tally is up and running.
Brody's put his hand up as if his fingers will be the dicks.
First off, this I'm just going to bring this up before this could be a part of the dick count. But Cane Dogs, I'm going to show you a photo. If you could please show me.
Yeah.
So the cinema that I go to is under intense renovations. That's the first stick.
Okay.
So only half of the cinemas are open. They've brought in this new concept. Cane Dogs, what does it say?
It says D-box, feel it all. And it says D, and then it says dot, and then it's got the word box, and underneath it, it says feel it all.
Now,
I'm going to get you to send that to me because that's amazing.
If you're on the committee for a 4D experience, maybe rethink D-box feel it all.
And it's a big neon sign. It's not like a billboard that they can replace.
That's in the cinema.
It's a big billboarded sign that they have lit up.
All right, so dick count. Here we go. First off, half the cinemas are out because the cinema's under renovations.
Ding!
Dick 1. Mm-hmm. Dick 2, there's nowhere to buy your tickets. You have to buy them online or at the touch thing at the start. Like
the self-serve. Ugh.
Dick. Next one was we went to sit down, and this is probably the biggest dick that I have. Is we were sitting down waiting for the movie to start, and as someone walks through the hallway, he just goes, and sorry, everyone listening, please cover your ears if you do not like gross sounds. He went and like just inhaled a big gooby, and we're like, oh, that is gross. And he walked around and then started coming up the aisle directly for us. There were seats next to me. I'm like, oh no. He sat 2 seats across from me, and for every 5 minutes, like just someone that's obviously got a cold but isn't blowing his nose,
isn't willing to accept
and not
it.
Sniffing, he's swallowing his like for the whole film. It was gross. No. Next, as a part of the new cinema, you have to choose your seating. So it's all allocated seating now.
We experienced that too. The cinema we go to is now brought in
allocated seating,
which
right?
is really annoying.
Let's put a mark down for that. Mark down for allocated seating. All right, so we've got a girl right in the center. She's taken the best seat in the house and was on Instagram the whole time.
Why
I saw
bother?
all of her feed. Bing. Maybe go up the back.
To be fair, if I saw this movie by myself and I thought no one else was in the cinema, I would not have watched it. I would have been on my phone the whole time.
That's fair. Next one.
So it's 5.
Next one. There was the couple that sat next to me. Obviously a first date. They were flirting through the whole movie.
No, that's kind of cute.
It was kind of cute, but then not halfway through, but like halfway through the introduction, after the title had come up, he tapped me on the shoulder being like, hey man, is this Angel Has Fallen? Just want to make sure we're in the right cinema. I'm Like, well, the title did come up. Yes, you're in the right cinema. However, I will grant him a pass on that because the final cinema dick was a bunch of 5 cinema dicks that came in while the movie had started.
That takes us
That takes us to 11. I don't have enough fingers.
They all turned their lights on the phone because the cinema was dark, because the movie had started, began talking at normal volume, telling each other where they were sitting. And they were sitting a row apart. So there was a row in front and a row behind. And they were talking throughout the movie across rows.
Oh.
Whoa.
What does that bring our final total dick tally up to?
Angus, you
11.
have almost broken the world record at 11 dicks.
11 dicks.
You are 11 dicks strong.
11 dicks at
but
once.
The world record was 13 dicks.
So close. All right, there's always next week.
There is always next week.
We are talking about Angel Has Fallen. Most positive things.
Angel
Probably going to be nice and quick.
All right.
Cane Dogs.
There weren't many things that I liked about this film, but I will say the practical effects.
Uh-huh.
For when they did use practical effects, I really enjoyed it. Very rarely do I get to see practical effects used in action movies now because they CGI everything.
Yeah.
And this film is certainly guilty of CGIing a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But for the times when, for some reason, they did decide to use practical effects, it was really cool to see.
I think they blew it all in the explosions.
Yeah.
All the practical effects budget
Went to
was
the
like blown on the
So there's a
explosions.
lot of
in the
Movie had a
drone and
weirdly
then-
high budget for such shitty action.
Yeah.
yeah.
So there was a lot of, like, you know, there's a lot of stuntmen that were in explosions that were clearly actual people set on fire for the shot. A lot of real practical explosions used in a later scene with his dad. All of that stuff I found really, really cool.
Yeah.
I just
But
like
they
seeing
like
practical
didn't
effects.
show it, and they didn't like use it wisely.
Oh, it wasn't
and it was
filmed or
just
used
boring.
well.
It was just like this is. Weird.
I was just happy to see something practical in this film, because if everything was CGI, I think I would have left the cinema. I just waited for Brody, I guess.
Yeah, fair up. Mr. Butler. Most positive thing?
Positive. I don't have anything for positive, so I'll just take a stab at it. His dad. I liked his dad. He was like
he
That
plays
was-
the
yeah.
same character in every film.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the actor, but yeah.
I was looking on IMDb trying to find him, what his name is, because he was also my favorite part of the film, was the dad. Just because, like, they touched on some pretty serious subjects, I guess, with, you know, post-traumatic stress and all that.
But
and they
just enough to give the characters something to say.
Yeah. But I think what they were saying was important. Nick Nolte is his name, I think.
He's been in a few
He's been in a
things,
bunch.
but he just
Yeah.
always plays crazy old man.
Yeah. I liked him as crazy old man. Yeah, they touched on a few kind of serious things about post-traumatic stress and all that, and different wars and stuff. And I really liked the line where he said, like, Iraq is just Vietnam and Vietnam is just Korea, and like war is war kind of thing. And like, even though I guess technology evolves and stuff like that, like, it's still traumatic. So I really like that, but also the fact that he kind of brought in a bit of humor into it as well. I think there's enough balance there, I think, to not be like, it's a serious topic, but also
I think
this movie's about having a bit of fun as well.
the other
which I
positive
think
for
was
me,
good.
I think, is that I genuinely do like Gerard Butler. I have seen him do a good job in things.
Where?
I liked him in 300. I liked him in a movie called P.S. I Love You, which is like, it's maybe the only romantic drama / comedy that I really enjoyed. And
Bit of trivia here. P.S. I Love You is also the name of another podcast all about the PlayStation. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
cool.
Also, there's another book which is all about the love of urination.
Anyway, there's a few
There's
things that
also a small pamphlet about the Australian driving license, also known as Peas. Peas, I love you.
and he did another one.
Also, McCain's coming out with their new frozen vegetables. Peas, I love you.
Yeah. There's also the abbreviation of parking lot, as in parking lots, I love you, known just as Peas, I love you.
We good?
We've also got the album of lovely love letters to famous P's. Pierce Brosnan is the only one I can think of. P's, I love you.
Why Pierce Brosnan?
I was just
Why
thinking
just
of P's.
that?
I was thinking, think of a famous person whose name starts with P, other than Brad Pitt.
Philip?
Yeah, good on Philip.
Prince
The most
Philip.
famous Philip. Oh, Prince Philip.
Prince Philip.
That's actually a pretty famous Philip.
There's 2 P's for you.
But I think you only got Prince Philip by just saying Philip.
Yep.
Philip! There's probably a prince named that. I'm not sure. Prince Philip.
Anyway.
We've also got the
No one wants to listen to
the
this.
Alphabetical Appreciation Society, who this week are celebrating you. So, P.S. I love you.
Yes. Yeah.
Cane dogs.
Yeah.
They tag those on to the end of their emails.
Yeah.
Also, the appreciation for post-ops at the end of mail and emails and that sort of stuff. P.S. I love you.
Also, the appreciation for sheep, female sheep. P.S. I love yous.
There's also the lovely book written
Okay,
for
you've been doing this for 4 minutes.
Paul Schmidt. P.S. I love you.
Okay. My point is I do genuinely like Gerard Butler, and I think I would enjoy seeing him in good films. But I'm so sick of seeing him now because I've only seen him in shit films.
Yeah, fair. All right, let's go into our negatives. Now, let's keep it as brief as possible, but full reign. Everyone just let loose.
Full reign.
Cane dogs, you look like you're itching for a bitch.
I predicted the end of this film within the first 18 seconds.
Yeah.
I even figured out how it was going to end in terms of the whole third act, because it's like he's working his way through some buildings and he's kicking some people's ass, and I went, well, clearly this is going to be one of those training things. Then he gets out there and a guy's like, you're not meant to punch that hard, and he's like, if you don't train like it's real, then when it's real, you won't be, or whatever.
When it's real, you won't train.
Yeah. And by that he means steam trains.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, the end of this is clearly going to be him making his way through a bunch of buildings, and he's probably going to take out that guy or a bunch of guys like that. And then he meets generic evil
Danny
army
Houston.
colonel,
Danny Houston.
the bad guy from X-Men Origins Wolverine, who plays the same character, Stryker, yeah. And he's like, hey, we're buddies from the war, and I run a private military thing that specifically makes money on war.
And you're like, no, you're typecast as a bad
And
guy.
Gerard-
You're a bad guy.
Hang on, curveball, Brainiac comes in, and he's fucking like, oh, I want to be fucking Prime Minister / President of the United States of America.
That's who he is. Ugh. And then from there, he goes to his house, and then the next scene is a bunch of drones, which I hate drones in films just used in the they use drones in a way where you could just use any other type of bomb or missile for no
no
and then they're like, you've been framed. We found all the DNA on the stuff. Do you know anyone that could benefit from war and that could possibly have had an opportunity to get your DNA recently? And he's like,
Hang on, Brainiac here.
Yeah. And he's like, well, maybe that army colonel who now runs a privately owned military thing that came to my place last week, maybe look into that guy. But instead of saying any of that immediately, he's like, I didn't do it, and that's all I have to say on the matter. What are you talking about? Gerard Butler looks fit, kind of, but on screen, he does come across just as a bit of a dad.
Yeah.
And as a result, and that's the same with the guy who played the bear guys. Neither of them look like crazy, ripped action hero type dudes, and neither of them are great martial artists. And none of these films rely heavily on heavy martial arts. So I'm like, when this fight inevitably at the end comes, it's just going to be 2 dad-looking dudes throwing some
Just
hooks.
heaving
Just
at each
having,
other.
yeah, just like slowly dry
Dads and
heaving.
hooks. Every Tuesday evening.
Taking some general stomach
Sufficient.
punches and having a bit of a hug out. Like, I just couldn't be bothered waiting for it.
A hug out.
Like, it's the 2 least impressive characters having a fight, and I had to wait 2 hours to get there, and it was exactly what it was. Exactly what I thought it would be. Just 2 blokes kind of hugging on a roof, and one of them stabs another. The end.
Put that as a
And then he
tagline on
goes,
the movie.
he's like, we're lions. No, you're not.
You gazelles
Yeah,
at
but you
best.
guys are Scar.
You're shit.
Mr. Butler. Most negative thing about the film?
I wrote down action was shit and close-up city.
Yeah.
I
I
hated
feel
that
like
city.
1/3 of this movie was close-ups.
And
Closer, yeah.
incomprehensible as well.
Yeah.
Like you
and
couldn't see
it
what was happening.
Insane the amount of close-ups are in this film.
I think because, and this will come into my negative, is that it wasn't all shot on the same time frame. Like they would have been shooting in between movies or something, because there's a lot of close-ups where you can't see where they are, so they've obviously green screened it. A lot of bad green screen as well.
One particular one as well.
Yeah.
Also, I'm wagering that there's also like a face mask of Morgan Freeman on one of the actors.
There definitely is,
Because
where it's like a deep
There's this
fake.
one really kind of uncanny valley, like his face is just not moving the right way. They've just kind of pasted Morgan Freeman's face on an actor next to Gerard Butler because obviously they just couldn't get him or something, or like
They just went to Gerard Butler's house.
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that was my biggest negative. Is just if you're gonna shoot a film, just shoot it properly. Like don't be like, oh, we'll fix it in post. Because there are, like, as you said, K-Nogs, there's practical effects in this movie that are like, oh yeah, wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of cool.
all the drone explosions and stuff, like the bodies kind of flying off, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's awesome. And there was some really good
Stunt doubles.
There was really good stunts
there was
in
two
those
shots
as well.
from this film that I really liked. One of them was when a guy breaches into a room and Gerald Butler shoots him in the face,
And that was
comes out of the room. in the one
Great.
take.
Me and Brody both went, ha!
It was actually good action.
Yeah.
And the other one was a slow-mo shot of a man on fire who's been thrown by an explosion
Into the river?
Into the river.
Yeah,
And it's
I really
side
like
on,
that too.
And it was like
Yeah.
really good. That was a really good.
Yeah,
shot as
that
well.
was really good. And when I saw that, I'm like, fuck, yeah, that's a real stunt.
Oh yeah,
That's
when I
really
saw
good.
that, I was like, this could be, like, even if it's shit storytelling, if all of this action is going to be practical, I'll be real happy.
Yeah.
But apart from those two shots and some explosions later,
it
everything was
was awesome.
really closely cut CGI.
So yeah, that goes into mine. Is like action was so shitty.
Yeah,
They
it
flipped
was
some real
definitely-
cars. Some of the cars that they do when they
Yeah,
break them out, that was kind of cool.
Flipped that truck or
Yeah.
something similar, but it just didn't look good. And also, a truck chase isn't that interesting.
Yeah, because
You
they're
know?
both
Yeah.
going at like
Yeah.
40.
Yeah. I feel like they did a lot of those decisions where it's just like, why did they decide to do this?
It's almost like they're like, okay, what hasn't been done before?
Yeah. A truck chase.
yeah.
Yes. And they do
For
it
a
without
reason.
thinking
Yeah.
thinking why it hasn't been done. Yeah.
No, definitely.
What hasn't been done? Oh, let's blow up a hospital that has no one in it.
Oh, bro, can you please do that rant? It was so good.
It was so shitty. The entire third act, they're trying to kill the president so the people can get money or whatever bullshit because the Lions want to go back to war. I don't know. It's fucking boring.
They're lions and they want to go back to war.
Yeah. And so they basically hack into a hospital and rig it to explode. And it's going to take 4 minutes for the hospital to fill with like gases and oxygen, get the right levels for it to explode. But Secret Service finds out about that, so they evacuate everyone out of the hospital. So the hospital's empty. And they evacuate the president out of the hospital as well.
It's amazing how they evacuated everyone in 4 minutes. Thank God no one in there was injured or had a limp.
And the president is like in a car, and they get out, and then they get caught by the bad guys. The bad guys shoot him up, and the bad guy is looking at the president, not in the hospital, is like, blow the hospital, and he blows the hospital with no one in it, and the hospital explodes, and that gives cover to the president.
It doesn't do...
Yeah.
That
and
was,
his men
why
so
are we
they can run
blowing the
into
hospital
an
down?
adjacent building. And it's just one of those things where it's like, why the hell did they blow that hospital up?
Yeah.
It was a massive explosion. That CGI and shooting that would have cost so much money, and it was for absolutely nothing. I just wanted to see more of Niobe. She was my favorite character. She was like an awesome FBI agent. Niobe from the Matrix series was the
Will Smith's wife.
was the FBI agent in this film. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
She's
yeah. I
actually
wanted
kind
to
of
see
cool
more of
character.
her stuff, and then
Let's see more of her.
I would have really
touch
liked...
on the head.
I would have really liked for Gerard Butler and her to have a confrontation. And for her to genuinely want to stop him, but not want to hurt him. And for him to genuinely need to get past her, but not want to hurt her.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that would have been an interesting fight to see them have to use sort of tactical maneuvers to sort of stop the other without just fucking shoot him in the head.
And
that
with
would
one
have
of them shooting the other with a flare gun. And
Yeah.
it's like, fuck yeah.
it would have been again just an interesting
Something
element that
different.
they could have done,
Yeah.
and it would have been simple to add, but they didn't because
Well, something different that they did do, which I was surprised about, was with the dad's character. Like, generic action film. You meet up with the dad that's never been there, and then when it comes down to it, the dad sacrifices himself for the kid.
Yeah.
And I saw that. I'm like, oh, it's gonna happen. Like,
Dad's gonna die.
Dad's gonna like jump in front
Go
of a
on without
bullet
me.
or
I got
something.
this.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But they didn't do that. They kept him alive, and I was like, that's good. I didn't expect that.
Angus, they needed him alive so they could do that really comical end credit scene that fucking came out of nowhere. That was really confusing. It was so bizarre.
Floating in it.
And I'm like, what's happening? Me and Brody were both very confused with what was happening. Like, just don't stop doing end credit scenes. If you don't have something worth saying, don't try to say anything.
Yeah.
And Marvel needs to learn that too. But it's just stop doing end credit scenes if you've got nothing to say.
I did think for a split second that they were setting up the next Fallen movie, and like the
Dad
lights
has
go
fallen.
like
That is fallen.
It's just him being like, oh, my leg's a bit crook, and that's it. And then the next one is just Dad's fallen.
Dad's fallen. Next year, Dad's fallen.
It's just Gerard Butler being like, you okay, Dad? And he's like, yeah, give me a minute. And that's the whole film.
Very good. All right, let's leave it there, lads. Sweet. That's what we thought of Angels Have Fallen. Next week, Cane Dogs.
Has fallen.
Angels Have Fallen.
No,
Angel has fallen.
Angel has fallen.
Only a single angel has fallen.
Yes.
Cool. Next week, Cane Dogs. We are reviewing.
I'm relatively interested in the kitchen.
Then take a fucking cooking class, mate.
I'm relatively interested in seeing the movie named The Kitchen.
Cool. All right. I guess we'll see next week. Look, we may or may not, depending on if another better movie comes out.
Look,
hopefully.
I'm relatively interested in seeing it. I don't know.
Okay. Till then,
Don't
have a
forget
good one.
to disregard Butler.
Disregard Butler on Twitter. All right. Bye. Thank you for listening to Film Slice Podcast. You can reach us on Instagram, you can reach us on Twitter, you can reach us on all that jazz. Make sure you hit us up.
Did we remember to book the jazz band?
No, I'm replacing them. Check this out.
Some more of that next week. Look, if you enjoyed that, as the other co-host stated, you can catch us on all of the platforms that you would usually hear about us, except for Spotify. See you next week for another one. We really appreciate you listening. Thank you. Bye.
Got him in a How about you get the hell out of my face?
Oddly aggressive jazz song.
It's called Jordan Can Piss Off.
Oh.